We really boxing. Who wanted the baddest? Let's see.
Oh, we boxing? Yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weaving and blocking. Defeat ain't an option. Let them know. Shoot a video, put it on BVO. Let them know. Every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO, bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know. I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show. This is BVO.
Yo, the JBT is back at you with another raffle. This time we be giving away an iPad, 10th generation iPad, on entertainment in the pocket of your hand. So you wonder, how do you get this iPad? It's only $10. We giving away block specials for all our prizes this time around. $10 per entry, 3 entries for just $25 to get you in this time. Who don't love a block special? Not only are we giving away an iPad, but it's more gifts. Who don't love gifts? Gifts on top of gifts. Send that money, JBT Network 1, JBT Network 1, JBT Network 1. Now, what you say is the other prizes now? We linked up with Kenichi Bear. Noise canceling headphones from the young brother straight from Baltimore, Maryland. So, if you want an addition to your $10, you get a secondary prize if you don't win the first prize. And then don't forget, we got more. Don't win the first prize, don't win the second prize. Who don't need an air fryer? We're giving away a Ninja air fryer. Get your food right, eat healthy, get right. All on the JBT. $10 once again. I'll get you all of this. Your chance is golden. You got to be in it to win it. If you ain't in it, you don't get no prize. $10, JBT Network 1. Good luck. It's on you.
What it do? We back with another episode of BBO Boxing. It's your boy D Free. I'ma hold it down till BBO gets here. He'll be here roughly around 8:30. He caught up doing his little errands here and there. Prize said he's gonna be a little late. So I'ma hold it down for the fellas until they get here. But we got some news in the sport of boxing going down. We got some news going down. It looks like the Jerron Boots Ennis and um Brian Norman. It looks like they're working on a deal to get the fight in December. Um, it seems like it was what I basically was saying. Eddie Hearn was playing games, and it seemed like Top Rank was playing games as well. Because from sources, from what I've been hearing, is when Brian Norman said they had came out with a counter offer. Eddie Hearn said he didn't hear nothing about a counter offer. So Brian Brian Norman went to Top Rank, was like, "Hey, what's going on? We trying to get this fight done. This guy got a belt. We trying to unify." And then Jerron Boots Ennis was like, hold up. Hey, Eddie, this is what I signed to you for. You supposed to be giving me these big fights. I'm staying at 47 to be undisputed." So it looked like the two fighters is making this fight more so than the promoter. So I gotta tip my hats off to those guys. Neither one of those guys are trying to fight anybody else. They're trying to fight each other. Um, and it was supposed to be a deadline for Jerron Boots Ennis to fight to make a deal with Karen this Friday, which is tomorrow. Um, but the word is if Brian Norman and Jerron Ennis is trying to get this deal done, they're going to postpone that deadline. So if that deadline is postponed, it looks like we might be getting the Brian Norman and Jerron Boots Ennis fight. So I mean, we're gonna keep our fingers crossed because that's the better fight. Nobody really want to see Jerron Ennis versus Kern again. He beat the man 12 rounds to nothing. Even though it wasn't his best performance, he still beat him 12 rounds to nothing. So nobody's really trying to see that fight again. And like I said, Brian Norman, he's gonna take it to Jerron Ennis. He's gonna make Jerron Ennis fight, and Jerron Ennis is gonna have to prove he's everything that we believe that he is. it's going to be one or two things. Either he's going to go in there and he's going to outclass Brian Norman, or Brian Norman is going to show that Jerron Ennis ain't really everything that we believe that he is. So I hope they get this fight done, and it's definitely going to be fireworks in that ring when they get in there. Um, that's the best fight that I see right now on the horizon at 147. If Stanionis and Mario Barrio step up to the plate, then that's another good fight. But right now, the fight that's in the near future that can be made right now, that these two guys are trying to get this fight done, that's the best fight to be made at 147, and it's a unification. So this is what we wanted. Everybody was saying if Jerron Ennis ain't unifying the belts, he need to go to 54. Well, it looked like he's trying to unify these belts. So let's see if this man can unify this belt. What's going on, Kareem? What's going on, GP? What's going on, Melanie Queen? Let me see who else is in the building. What's going on, Tim Layton? Uh, yeah, that's pretty much everybody right now. But yeah. So let's hope that these fight gets done, and we get to see a entertaining fight. Um, but BBO he's going to be up here. He's running a little late. He's running some errands right now, but he'll be up here in about another 20 minutes. He'll be up here. Um, but the other news is the WBO has mandated, I mean, has ordered the fight between Bud Crawford and Sebastian Findor. Um, we're going to see what happens with that, because Sebastian Findor does have the Spence fight right there lined up. But the WBO came out and ordered this fight. Now, one or two things can happen. Either he can go ahead with the order and get this fight with Bud Crawford, or he can drop that belt and decide to take Spence by and take the Spence fight, which is both fights I think is a big money fight for Fendor. Um, I think the Spence fight might be a little more lucrative for Fendor because it's going to be in Dallas, and there's a lot of Mexican fan base down there in Dallas, and we know that's Earl Spence home turf, so it could be a little more lucrative for Fendor. But the bigger fight is fighting Bud Crawford for unification. Um, Now the question is Bud Crawford going to try to get 50-50 with Fendor, which I believe he should. Um, he's the bigger name out of the two fighters. He should be able to get 50-50, but I don't know. Fendor might say, you know what? I don't necessarily need this fight. I can fight Earl Spence and then unify with Tim Tszyu, because Tim Tszyu is going to fight the IBF champion. So if Tim Tszyu wins that fight, they can line that fight up for Fendor to rematch Tim Tszyu for unification with that fight. And then the Bud Crawford fight will be the last fight to for undisputed at 54. So we're gonna see. I believe Bud deserved to get that fight. I mean, he did beat Earl Spence, and that rematch didn't happen. So he went up to 54. He beat the WBA champion and became a four division champion. And I think he should be able to get that fight with Fendor. Like I said, we know that Al Heyman is gonna keep it in house unless the money is right for Al Heyman, because make no mistake about it, Fendor is a PBC fighter. Earl Spence is a PBC fighter, and um, Bud he really doesn't like Al Heyman like that. Now he'll do business with him if the money's right, but he don't like Al Heyman like that. So if he could step on Al Heyman's toes, he's going to try to do that, and that's what he did by getting this fight ordered by the WBO. What's going on, Ace? So we're going to see what comes about with that fight. I I I can see in a situation where Fendora can beat Earl Spence and beat Bud Crawford, but I can also see both of those guys beating Fendora. Now, Bud Crawford, I believe he's the better fighter. He didn't look that good to me in his last fight. Like I said, I gave him the fight. I believe he pulled it out the last two rounds, but I don't know if it was the ring rust or if it was the weight that he put on to fight at 54. But he didn't look like the Bud Crawford that I'm used to seeing. And it could very well be the age is catching up to him. So I got to see how Bud looks in his next fight. I would favor Bud versus Fandora. Um, I would favor Bud versus Fandora, and I would favor Fandora versus Spence because I don't know what Spence is going to look like. The last fight that I seen with him, he got beat up. He didn't look right. So I don't know what Spence is going to look like. But making no mistake about it, Fandora can beat both these guys, and both these guys can beat Fandora. So that's what makes for a good fight. Because what's going on, Seawood? Because Fandora, he's gonna fight. Now, will he win? It remains to be seen. A lot of people didn't have him winning that fight against Tim Tszyu, but he was able to pull it out due to the fact that Tim Tszyu couldn't see out of one eye because of the blood from the elbow. Um, so a lot of people didn't see him winning that fight, but he did pull it out. And I definitely want to see a rematch because I believe Tim Tszyu would have won that fight if it wasn't for the fact that he was blinded in one eye due to the elbow and caused a nice gash across the top of his eye. What's going on, Jay Hardcore? So I definitely want to see that. He said they offer Brian Brian Norman 1.6 to fight Boots the third off Boots third offer. Um I mean I don't know. I mean if I don't know what they offer Brian Norman the first time they went to the table, but he said he wants to be treated as if he's a champion. Because he is a champion. He has a belt and Boots has a belt. They both pretty much got their belt due to the fact that Bud was stripped of his title. So I mean Brian Norman did beat the interim champion for his belt, and that's how he became the WBO champion. Boots was awarded the belt because Bud said he had no intentions on fighting him, so the IBF stripped him. So I don't know if that's going to be enough money for him. I mean, if it's a pay-per-view fight, it should be enough money. They can get more money on the back end, but I don't know if they're going to make it a pay-per-view fight or if it's going to be just on the zone. I mean, it very well could be a pay-per-view fight. I don't know how big it would do because both of them are not real big names. Yeah, we know them because we talk about these fighters on a everyday basis, but I don't know if the casual know these guys that well. Now they couldn't. I mean, I don't like I said that still will be Brian Norman's biggest payday. 1.6 is still his biggest payday. He never made $1 million in a fight, so it's still his biggest payday. I don't know if he's going to go for it or not, but I hope they get this fight done because, like I said, that's a hell of a fight. I hope they get it done because both of these guys need that fight in order to uh, um, put another notch on their belt. Because the one thing that we always said about, uh, well, I didn't say it, but a lot of people say about Boots is he hasn't fought nobody. I mean, Brian Norman, he hasn't looked great in coming up. I mean, this last fight he did what he was supposed to do, but he hasn't been looking great coming up. So this will put his name on the map, and this will give Boots a name on his resume that a lot of people believe is a durable guy that's gonna bring it. I mean, Brian is a tough, hard punching individual. I mean, he has no losses. Everybody he fought, he gave them a run for their money in order to beat him, and he came out on the winning end. So I mean, I think he's gonna take it to Jerron Ennis, and they got history. They sparred together, so he has no problem coming to Philly. He told Booth, every time we sparred, I came to Philly. I have no problem coming to your backyard. I always came to your backyard to spar with you. So he's comfortable with coming to Philly. So I mean, it's just a road to nothing but fireworks. I need them to make this fight because this is what we've been looking for. Jerron Ennis in a fight that we believe that it's a this is about close to a 50-50 fight that I believe that Jerron Ennis is going to get at 47. This is about as close as he's going to get to a 50-50 fight. I don't think Stanionis is a 50-50 fight, and I don't think Mario Barrio is a 50-50 fight. I think Stanionis and Brian Norman is more of a 50-50 fight between those two guys. I think Brian Norman, I think he'll beat Mario Barrio. So I think this is going to be about as close to a 50-50 fight that Jerron Boosin is going to get at 47. So they definitely got to make this fight. What's going on, Prize? What's going on with you, man? He's still on mute. But yeah, he said I got Boots beating Brian Norman up. I mean, he if Boots is what we believe he is, he should beat Brian Norman up. He should because his boxing ability is much better than Brian Norman. His boxing ability is much better. So if he's what we believe that he is, he should beat him up. But if he's not, he's going to be in a war with Brian Norman. Brian Norman is definitely going to bring it to him. So if he's not what we believe that he is, he's going to be in a war. What's going on, Prize?
Yo, salute, free. Salute, man. Salute to the chat, man. Appreciate y'all smashing the like button, man. Salute to the whole chat. What up?
What's going on, Marky Dan? But yeah, so I was telling everybody before you got up here that
Yeah, I was listening.
yeah. So
I'm
what you?
getting something done to my car right now.
Oh no, no, I mean it's cool. It's cool.
So I was like, damn, free up there. Holy, let me jump out. I just step to the side for a minute.
Oh no, that's cool. It's cool. I mean, this ain't nothing new to me. I got my own channel, so this ain't nothing new to me.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt. I know you can handle it. Salute,
Yeah.
GP.
But yeah. So I mean, this is a fight that we definitely need because I don't know if these other guys is gonna put him up. What's going on, Thomas Hill? Is gonna put up the type of fight that Brian Norman is gonna put up with Duran Ennis because, like I said, they're familiar with each other. So when you familiar with each other, that leads to be a more impressive fight. Like we saw the fight with who was the fight that we just seen, and those guys had sparred each other before. It was the God that we just saw a couple of maybe a month ago.
Jared Anderson fight.
No, 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 not the Jared Anderson fight. It was.
Oh,
It
you
was.
said they sparred one another.
Yeah, they sparred one another, and the fight didn't go the way a lot of people thought it was going to go because a lot of people thought, oh, it was going to be one sided, but it wasn't that because these guys knew each other from sparring.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of who the fight was, but it didn't go the way a lot of people thought it was going to go because they knew what to expect from each other because they had sparred each other before, and it was an entertaining fight because it wasn't one sided. Um,
That's
but
sparring. That matters. I saw a clip today where Roy Jones was talking about he got dropped in the fight early in his career, and he was like, "That's why I don't like fighting sparring partners because they know certain little things about you." So I just seen a clip that Roy saying that today.
yeah, I mean, if you fight now, it's one thing just to bring somebody in and to work out with them because you're getting ready for a fight. It's another thing when you have somebody that you spar multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Like Muhammad Ali and Larry Holmes, they spar multiple times. Although Muhammad Ali was much older, but Larry Holmes knew what Muhammad Ali liked to do. Muhammad Ali knew what Larry Holmes liked to do as well. It's just he was much older, so he couldn't really capitalize on it. But when you in there with somebody that you spar multiple times, and you know what they like to do, so what they want to do, you can't really get off on it because they know they know what they expect. So it makes for a real tough fight because they know what you like to do and they're not going to give
Yeah,
you that
I
option.
forgot what fight that was. Free. That's bothering me too right now.
Yeah, I can't remember because I know it was just recently and we was talking
Yeah,
about it and
yeah,
they had spot each other and the guy was trying to do something but he couldn't do it because he already knew what was going to happen. He already knew what he liked to do. I wanted that I wanted it wasn't the Bud Crawford fight. It wasn't it wasn't I'm trying to think. Yeah, this joint gonna bother me until I remember what it
It
is.
wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't the Canelo McGee fight.
No. It
It
was
wasn't.
after that fight. It was after that fight,
Yeah,
but
I can't remember, man.
it was like within the last month or two. It was like within the last month or two. But anyway, moving on to other news. It'll come back to me once it do.
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
that's
But
bothering me.
what's going on, Big Dre? Um, but
Salute, Big Dre.
but
Oh,
the other
Kareem up in
news is
here. Salute, Kareem.
yeah, Kareem's in here. I just
Salute.
saw him earlier. I saw him earlier. He's in here.
Follow
I don't.
Kareem's boxing.
Yeah. I don't know if he stepped out. Yeah, he was in here at 8:11, so I don't know if he stepped out or not. But he's here. But in other news, it looks like the Shakur Stevenson fight is going to be the main event for that pay per view card.
Hmm.
Um, I don't like that for Shakur because the whole focus of the pay per view card was Arthur versus Bivol, and now that they putting that on ESPN Plus, I don't know if people is going to be so intrigued on buying that pay per view because it's really not no fights on there that you care to see. It's some decent names on there, but it's not a fight on there that you care to see. Like you got Ben Whitaker versus somebody nobody ever heard of. Ben Whitaker's not even a big name like that. If you've been watching Instagram and you've seen videos on YouTube, you know who Ben Whitaker is, but he's not a big name like that. So anybody gonna be buying it to see Ben Whitaker. Then you got Chris Eubanks Jr. He finds somebody nobody really knows who he is. And
Tuna.
then you got the main event, Shakur Stevenson. They 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 already been trashing that fight. His own fans been trashing that fight.
Hmm.
And you got Fabio. He's going to be in a decent fight. That's about the best competitive fight
And
out
then
of
are they
all the cards.
splitting the Bevo better BF fight?
No,
Two.
they're not splitting it. What they doing is they having the pay per view card, and then after the Shakur Stevenson fight is over, you're going to switch over to ESPN Plus to see the Arthur versus Bivol. So
Right.
it's not going to be no other fights except for the Arthur versus Bivol. So people just tune in to ESPN and watch that for free. If you already got ESPN Plus, you just tune in that to watch that for free. But I just don't. I mean, like I said, I think they setting Shakur up to fail
Yeah,
because
I don't understand that move. I guess they saying, hey, it's because there are some hardcore boxing fans out there that's excited, that just want to see fights, and they planning their whole weekend. They got they drinks and they got their personal items, and they probably gonna sit around, order the fights, and watch fights all night. It's gonna be a couple people
yeah, I
doing
mean,
that, probably about 20 or 30,000 people, maybe 15 to
no,
20.
I'm just looking at the fact they came out with the numbers for the Bud Crawford fight, and that fight barely did 100,000 pay per view buys. Barely did 100,000. So if that barely did 100,000, what you expect this fight to do?
Yeah, I said
This
anywhere from 15 to 20,000. Well, Shakur got some fans, so it'll be some people buying some pay per view, showing them love, some rappers, some people. It'll be about 15 to
yeah,
30. It's kind of hard.
I
I'll
think they
I'll
should.
go off there and say 15 to 30,000.
And I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing. They trying to
How
put
much is the pay per
Shakur.
view, free?
I don't know. They haven't put it up yet. They haven't actually
It should
put
be
it on
twenty
the.
nine ninety nine.
What's going on, Thomas Hill?
Hey, I just heard that somebody's gonna be drinking. They're gonna be drinking while that fight is going on. Where they're gonna be off that good drink. Cause
Yeah, yeah, it's
that's a cold move right there. That looked like a Bob Arum exclusive. Like you not about to make no bread off of me. That looked
That's another thing. I didn't even think about that. That's another thing because Bivol and Arthur are both Bob Byrne fighters. I didn't think
Mhm.
about that.
Yep.
you know, Bob. I mean, he's not about to let Shakur benefit off of his buys and what
Right.
his fighters bring to the table. A lot of people had problems with Tank when Tank did this, and to a certain extent, you know what Mayweather did for Tank career, he can never repay that back. I'm gonna be honest, man. He can never repay that back. So the young buck who ain't had nothing to do with it, man, he should have been able to fight on there. But at times, man, business get in the way. And if you want to make it about business, then you gotta go with the business practices. And I believe Bob is like, nah, you're not about to make no money off of my headline.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think what I also believe I think they trying to do, they trying to push Shakur because this will be Shakur's first pay-per-view fight, and this would be his first headline for a pay-per-view fight. Because I don't think Shakur was an undercard of a pay-per-view card before, and I know he's never headlined a pay-per-view card. I'm not
Right.
sure if he was undercard of a pay-per-view card, but I know
I don't remember him being D3.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he was ever on an undercard for a pay-per-view card. So what they trying to do is this is his first pay-per-view. If it does well, they can go back to the table with Tank and say, "Hey, Tank, give us some more money because this is what Shakur is bringing. Not only is he bringing a belt, but he also got these pay-per-view numbers behind him as well." So I think that might be what they're doing too.
Try
You
to
you
just
know
see what happens.
you know I mean I don't think you're far from the truth on that. But this is the problem. They're mixing business with Bob. And now if we can come to that conclusion, I'm pretty sure somebody that done been around the block a couple of times definitely coming around that conclusion too. Like, dog, you're not about to do anything off of me. You're not about to get your pockets fat off of me. And we know from his dealings with his fighters that that usually is his profit. Like, I make the profit and I give you what I think you deserve. So I don't think you're wrong in it. I think that that's exactly what they're trying to do because they're trying to make him a selling piece. See, to me, what he does in the ring is selling piece enough, but we talking business, and business is about them numbers, and them numbers, they generate what goes down in negotiation. So
Yeah,
I don't
I
know,
don't
man.
know, man.
Doing business with Bob Arum with Shakur, I think right now it's not going to go in his favor because Bob is just going to be Bob.
Yeah.
Bob sue you in a heartbeat. He dang sure ain't about to let you make no bread off of him just because. That's just me, man. And I think like
No, I'm with
if they
you.
would have
I'm
thought
with you.
this
See,
through,
I feel the same way about him. Like
Yeah.
I call him the Bob Father. That's a chess move right there. He not finna.
yeah,
Nope. He took his
exactly.
fight and went to the. Nope. You got to come over here. So
Yeah.
now you got to that put Shakur in a bad spot to where now he don't got no choice but to see. But hopefully, I think he can do. Like I said, I don't know, 15 to 30,000. Anything better than 30,000 for me, or for pay per view is good, depending on how much it costs. If
No,
that
that's
joint
that's not
89.99 or
that's not
Who is
cool.
that
seventy-nine ninety
talking?
nine, they can hang it up,
Who
bro.
is that talking? Who is
That's
that talking? All I see is the dot. Who is that?
That's pride.
Stop playing with me, bro.
That's a notorious prize fighter play.
Stop playing with me. I told you I'm getting my car worked. I'm not home. I'm not stable, but
Hey,
I'm here.
Hold on. We got my dude Richie Threads in the house. Hold on 1 second.
Rich Threads, okay. The man, the myth, the legend
Yo,
himself.
what up, man?
what's going on?
Richie, what's up, bro?
Let's correct this real quick. It ain't Richie, is Rich. Come on now, let's get me right.
Hey,
Getting right, getting right. Rich
hey, hey, hey,
Threads,
hey,
right?
Get me
hey.
right.
I'll come
What
see
up?
you. You're not far. You're not far. I'll come see you. Be careful saying that. I'll come see you.
You know I welcome all the foolishness, nigga.
Yeah,
But
we
but
know you also like to go that way, homeboy. You go that way. I'm just messing with
hey,
you, man. Stop,
hey,
stop.
Tommy, don't make me get an easy win on the old man.
Yo, Wally.
Don't make me do it.
Every time a guest come in, BB will come up here acting crazy.
Be acting a fool, man.
Hey, man. You black. You don't have to call nobody black or fool. What you doing?
My bad. My bad.
Buddy.
My bad.
You
At
know better than
Asiatic
that,
one. Oh,
Tommy.
Asiatic one. I'm a acquiesce so we can get the
Asiatic
energy
boy
popping.
bugging.
Nigga tripping.
Uh, but
But
yeah, I just don't like this because I mean I heard Paz he said 30,000. That's not good. That's bad. If you can't do $150,000, the network company is losing money. They're losing money. You got to do over 150,000 in order for the network company to break even. If you're doing under 100,000, they losing money. So that's a bad look. I think they setting them up for failure. I really believe they setting them up for failure. They trying to
Make
build
good
up
points,
so
Free.
he could come to negotiation table with Tank to get a little bit more money, but it's going to turn around and backfire because if this fight doesn't sell, it's it's going to be bad for Shakur. It's going to be bad for him because they shouldn't have never did it the way they did it. They should have put him in there with a better fighter. He would have been better off headlining a pay-per-view card versus Andy Cruz instead of Joe Cordina. It'd have been better off against Andy Cruz.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
you guys
he
ever
better
wondered,
do it, Free.
was these three Puerto Rican? Yes. You see it by today. If you ever wondered, was these three Puerto Rican? Yes. Yes, he's Puerto Rican. Definitely. Definitely.
Oh,
Because
you
I ain't
always
never
gotta
heard
put
him
D
talk.
Free on the
He ain't
spot
never
like that.
defended no brother like this. Oh, they should have did this. Oh, they should have did that. See, we
I
got
I
D
don't
Free to show he's Puerto Rican, man. He showed
uh,
us.
I
That's
defend
crazy to me,
anybody
though.
that's being done wrong. The man is being done wrong. They setting him up for failure.
Yeah.
Hey. And to even hear D Free say that, but when they did my man Jamel wrong, oh well. Oh well.
When has Jamel fought?
But let me say this ain't about me. This ain't about Jamel. Um, I'll say this, man. I want to shout out my man Richie Threads, man. The brother, man, really has taught me a lot about YouTube that I didn't know, and I'm really grateful for it. I help, and I'll say my visuals, you know, have definitely improved, man. You know, and he from my birth city, you know what I mean? He not from East New York, but you know, he's from my birth city, Brooklyn, so we got nothing but
Hey,
love.
if you don't know the nigga at the deli, that's not your birth city, man. All right.
You said what?
If you don't
He
know the
getting you right. He getting
if
you right.
if you don't know the nigga that made your sandwich at the bodega, that's not your birth city.
Hey, if my dad throwing niggas project bill, niggas knowing, and that's where I
All
was
right.
born.
Your
That's what
dad ain't your dad ain't you. Fingerprints different, birth certificate different, nigga. Stand on your own. But go
yeah,
ahead, I'm listening.
is.
I'm listening. I'm listening. Yeah, you got the right one tonight. I'm
Oh
here.
Yeah.
You got the
Yeah.
right one tonight.
hey,
Tequila up, man.
Yeah.
Cheers, man. Go ahead. Let's talk. I'm
Yeah.
here.
we know that you like to go against black people, but let me ask you serious, man. We gonna ask you some real questions. So
Yeah.
you from Brooklyn, man? What was it like growing up in Brooklyn in the '80s and '90s, man? What was it like?
I'm from East Flatbush, so it's a lot of West Indians. So people with manners. It was cool. I was into sports from a young age. Fourth grade, fifth grade, I was already playing basketball in tournaments and stuff like that. So just enjoying being a kid in the environment of the city. New York don't sleep. So we was playing ball 11, 12, midnight. I was just telling my son this story too. Like, just enjoying the environment, man. You had the low lives, and then you had the 5%ers. So shit kept order in certain ways. It's not like today. These kids out here, they just loose. Ain't no order in today's streets. So the gangsters kind of kept the peace with the sports dudes, and if anything went
Mhm.
left, he's like, "Yo, short, this ain't for you. You go be safe over there and do what you doing." So I appreciated them, and then the ladies like sports guys, so that kept me in focus.
Yeah. So, like you said, being a sports guy, what got you early on into fashion, man? Because coming from Brooklyn, people don't know whether it's uptowns, whether it's a lot of the Tims, the Jabos, a lot of that stuff come from Brooklyn. We seen that Brooklyn first. What inspired you the most as far as getting into fashion?
Um, Pretty much music kind of did it for me. Music kind of cultivated what I enjoyed, I guess I would say. And then you had legends like Stephon Marbury. He was one of the first ones with the part in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Nas had the half moon. Like, it was always like looking fresh and staying clean. And then growing up, you remember the movie Sunset Park? I don't know if you remember that joint. But
Yeah.
Sunset Park, it was like you seen Avrex leathers and bubble jackets and Tims from an early age. So it was like, it's like, oh shit, what's this right here? So, that aesthetic right there. And then in '96, I was probably what, think I was 11 in '96. You see Allen Iverson roll around. He like, nah. He just took it to a whole different level. Where he just blended all of this shit together: streets, music, the culture. I'm like, yo, whatever's going on there, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah. Well, growing up, did you ever spend any time in Brownsville at all? Did you have any family in Brownsville or Canarsie? Or just everybody was from Flatbush?
I went to school at Canarsie High School, so I went to school with everybody from East New York, Brownsville, Best Eye. Because the 60 come down the hill. The 6 bus go to East New York, New Lots.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the L train is right there. Broadway Junction kids come down. So I always been around like Brownsville kids. I didn't have a lot of friends in Brownsville, but I went to school with a lot of dudes from Brownsville. So I used to go to like Old Timers Day, and I played in the Gersh when Gersh was actually indoors before it was what it is now, a Nike tournament. I played in the tournament across the street from Betsy Head Pool at a young age. Niggas actually was gonna shoot me in that park. Actually, I was talking shit to the home team. He was playing the Brownsville team, and nigga like, yo, score another point, man, and it's up. And I'm like, I'm laughing. I took a shot. Shit went in. I just looked at the nigga. But shout out to my man Gino from he went to school at St. John's University.
Mm-hmm.
My man Bard. And he was like, nah, that's my man right there. He good.
Yeah.
Brownsville fashion. Niggas like, yo, shorty, you could hoop. But I really had that thing on me. So, I was playful like that from a young age, man.
Yeah.
But
So speaking about that, did you grow up with your mother and father, just your father, just your mother? How did you grow up?
my mom's pops, they both West Indians. They ain't know nothing about no basketball. They didn't care about that shit. They just want to hear education. But then when they started hearing me hoop, I guess it kept me out of trouble because a lot of the kids around me, they wasn't into shit. So, they didn't mind that I was busy doing something. And then sports you had to keep up the grades, keep up a certain GPA. Even up to when you go to college, you have to have a certain minimum of credits that you take in order to stay eligible. So it was cool. And I mean, I appreciate them.
What island were they from? What island were they from?
My pops is from St. Kitts and my mom's is from Barbados. They came out here in maybe like 80,
Yeah.
82, something like that. Found out my mom's actually used to live in Cleveland for a little bit. I found that out as a grown man. I didn't even know that.
And the funny thing about it, when you talk about what is culture, you're talking about very, very strict parents. But for you to be able to play a sport, that's a big deal.
Nah, bro, I was hit with the bug from an early age where I wasn't really engulfed in the West Indian culture. I think I had earrings in like 5th grade, something like that, because I was rocking with Penny Hardaway. Penny Hardaway was like my idol at one point in time before the injuries. And just music alone, they couldn't understand where, you know what I mean? I was wearing baggy shit. My cousin's wearing leather sandals. I wasn't with none of that shit. So
Hey, I like how you talk about. I like how you roast the cat, the leather sandals and all that.
yeah, shirts tucked in your pants and all of that.
Yeah, that's crazy work.
I wasn't with it, man. But
Yeah.
that's what there was. Sunday you had to go to church or whatever. I was ducking out of that. Only reason I went to church because they had a CYO basketball team. I ain't learned that.
Yeah. So speaking about that, you talk about rappers being some of your main influence. My favorite rapper of all time, Mason Best, was from Harlem. So who was your favorite one coming up?
Uh, Coming up. At some point in time, you couldn't tell me I wasn't Dipset, but I was already like in my element at that point in time with the big earrings and all that shit. But
Hmm.
from a young age, I would probably say Cam from Young, SDE, Confessions of Fire days.
The
Yeah.
SDE, that work.
Yeah,
I
I was
met
kind of.
Dutch in the
Yeah.
airport, and we was talking about that. I seen him at the Philadelphia airport, and I asked him about that song. Like that was that work, that SDE album.
That
Yeah.
SDE, it was so rough. It was so raw.
Tough, bro.
Yeah, that was.
That's one of my favorite albums of all time. One of my personal favorite, actually.
Yeah. During that time though, like if you was really into hip hop, you had your tape recorder ready because Friday you had freestyles, and then you had
Mm-hmm.
what's my guy name? Rest in peace.
K Slay.
K Slay. K Slay was gonna go. They was gonna burn it down. Like
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
you had to really be ready and listening because I knew so much of them Funk Flex freestyles by heart.
Yeah.
Go to the go downtown
Yeah.
Brooklyn. $20 to get you 5 CDs. You like the block special, right? So you got to get the new Clue, the new
Mm-hmm.
Flex.
Hmm.
Envy was alright with it. You know what I'm
I about to
saying?
say
Yeah.
Envy had some eye stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was a clue nigga. He was a clue nigga. So he was
yeah,
only all right. You right.
yeah.
But speaking about just Brooklyn in general, one thing that Brooklyn is famous for, very unfortunately, is the violence. And I would say I'm really wondering how we able to stay away from the violence because even speaking with you, you don't seem like a dude who got caught up in the rah rah. So I'm just wondering how I was able to avoid that because that's a huge trap for a lot of us black and brown guys, man, especially when you talk about Brooklyn.
I like girls. That's why. Any niggas that's always violent and moving around crazy, they be around too many men. The, testosterone level is too high. You gotta be around ladies.
Bars.
Gotta be around the ladies. The ladies influence you to look clean, carry
Mm-hmm.
yourself a certain way, and look at the dudes that I carry myself after. Early Fab, wearing jerseys, line up. We didn't know what he looked like for 3 years, but when he came out, he had waves, and you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Mace was always clean. One of my favorite, rest in peace, Stack Bundles. He really was
Yeah.
R.I.P. Stat.
you know what I'm saying. He was one of them dudes that really said, you know what I mean. I'm a rock star and lived it up to it. Like he didn't
And
really have time for all of that.
when you
That's
talk
the kind
about
of
stats,
guy I am,
so
dog.
people don't realize
I'm
that
the
when you
guy that
look
like
at
the
Jim
girls.
Jones, hold on one second, Prod. When you look at Jim Jones absorbs Stack. Like he
What
absorbed Stack. I don't know if you watch Dragon Ball Z, but he absorbed Stack and he absorbed Max B because when Stack came out, when I first was hearing this little light skinned nigga with the shades on, they used to call him Little Jim. But it's funny how like
what? Hold on,
Jim.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do
No,
that.
no, I'm
Don't do
telling you,
that.
I'm talking about the mixtape days when they
Nah,
first
he
started
was.
the Jones family.
Nah,
Let
he
me
was.
finish. Let
No, wait. You going? You
let me
go too.
finish. They used
Go
to call
ahead.
him Little Jim, and they used to call him Little Jim. But the crazy thing was the dude had such a movement behind him, and he wasn't even signed. It was like, who is this dude? Because a lot when Jim made Certified Gangster, a lot of these early records was all Stack, and then it became Max. So that being said, when you said you were a big hip hop fan, did you ever want to rap yourself or no?
Nah, I can't even talk fast, bro. but but I'm here to correct you, my brother. You're a little bit younger than me, man. So
Oh yeah, go ahead.
before it was Max B and the Bird Gang era, it was Riot Squad. That was first. He was
Okay.
also down with Desert Storm. It was him, Paul Kane, Fab, Joe Buttons,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and a couple other dudes. But that was the movement prior to that. He spent a lot of time out there in Chicago
Mm-hmm.
with Lupe. So he was learning different ways and different flows. He was a hook master before he
For
even got
sure.
with Max. And then
Right.
Yeah.
when Chinks got arrested, Chinks was known as the hook dude, and he had the bars. But he was always Mr. Two Tone. He had the station wagon before everybody was really getting bread. It's a different element when it came to Stat. He just came
Yeah.
and gave Bird Gang some some luster to look good in the streets. It's a little different
Yeah.
feel when he touched that. Cause remember before it was like that purple gang, they wearing purple
Yeah.
camos
The
and
purple
shit
City
like
gang.
Bird
that.
Gang, yeah.
It was real nasty until
Yeah.
That
my
was
man,
real nasty.
real
Well, that was
nasty.
really Jim Jones and Uncasa and them doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Shout out to
You
But
know,
Jim.
that Desert Storm team, I used to like that. I was a fan of Paul Kane. I like Paul Kane.
Yeah, Paul Kane was tough,
Look at
but
Prize flexing his New York language.
hey,
Red,
salute to my
Red,
man Trinks Drugs, man.
Yeah.
RIP, man. Lost his life over some foolishness. But the thing that's so funny that I always felt when it came to Jim was that he never would put brothers on. Like the fact that, I think the fact that Max is in jail or Stack is no longer here, I contribute a lot of that to Jim. just like sucking cats dry and not really helping them because he did the same thing. Her name was what, Jaja? I don't know. A lot of people don't remember her.
What that chick?
Yeah, the chick. She used to write a lot of records for a lot of records because Stack was like the pretty boy, and Max was more. People don't think about him this way now, but Big Avell was like the hood street nigga. You know what I mean? And I felt like Jim absorbed both of them and kind of is what you see today. Like when you hear him talking about he Rich Porter, because when I first heard of Jim Jones, it was Jimmy, and we having my man Freaky sing all the hooks. And the reason I got such a love for Cam is because when I was growing up on the West Side, you would see Cam at the chicken spot. You would see Cam in Cleveland. You would see Cam, you know, at the Chinese restaurant. Free my brother Buck. He doing a lot of time in jail. He used to run with him, Duke the God. I don't know if a lot of people know who that is. So Ohio
Yeah,
got a lot of love for
yeah.
Dipset because man, Cam was up here like he lived it. You know
He,
what I
he
mean?
he he did he did live out there for a time, but listen here,
Go
the
ahead.
thing with people kind of get misconstrued with Jim. Jim learned the industry. He learned the ways of the industry growing up in the industry. Remember, he wasn't a rapper. But what I'm gonna do is
Yeah.
that I'm gonna give him credit that behind the scenes he was doing a lot more than he was credited for. He was already producing, he was already directing their music videos, so he was learning the business on the go. But the industry itself has old classical contracts. They don't really waver too far from the original shit. Now they came with this whole 360 shit. You got to sell $1 trillion worth of singles to make a couple dollars. So Jim kind of fell into the formality of the way that the industry was, and he didn't know how to differentiate that because he wasn't. That's like a boxer today signing to Mayweather, who signed to another entity. He's really the middleman of the business. If that makes sense.
And let me ask you this, man, because a lot of people don't bring up this kid. But what was it like, man? You got with 40 Cal, Hell Rare, and them running around, and you said the influence of Dipset because I remember them being the first people to wear what would later become Supreme. So what was it like, seeing them? Because you a little older, you got a chance to really enjoy it, what they was doing. What was that like seeing them dudes be such trendsetters like that?
You said 40 Cal wearing Supreme. I never
No,
heard.
it was Jewel. It used to be Jewels.
All
Jim,
right,
they was wearing Supreme back in the day. I used to see 40 Kyle with it on. I don't know if he would be credited with introducing it, but this is just for me being a super Dipset fan, seeing them all wearing like t-shirts with Supreme on it back then.
they got their tees first. They was one of the first ones with like the branded tees with who they was. I don't think they got any royalty towards that. They should
Mhm.
have, but you know that wasn't even really their wave that made them stick out. That was just a tee to us. When it came to them, they was wearing Trues and Nike. They made Nike boots a thing in New York City.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
might credit Nike boots to like VA down Baltimore. Where else used to wear them shits? DC. But
DC.
like in New York, we made it palatable. Where you wearing it with Trues, you wearing skull chains. They brought out the Ed Hardy, Artful Dodger. They was putting some shit together where it didn't look traditional because niggas was stuck on that '90s big baggy shit, which is back now. They back in that lane now, but they were one of the first dudes to start wearing close fitted shit. And then anybody that got next to them, if y'all notice, they switched it up. Look at when Lil Wayne got next to them. You wasn't seeing no Reebok, none of that other bullshit that they be wearing in Louisiana. That nigga wearing bait. He got fitted jeans on. Shit just started looking different. So I
Yeah.
think Joel should get a little bit more love that he does get in the fashion space because he took a lot of risk in the beginning.
Yeah, I say this, man. I always accredit a lot of to Wayne to what Gilly was doing because I remember how Wayne was rapping when I was a kid. Wayne, you remember how Wayne was rap? He wasn't rapping like that. The whole East Coast thing. I think when Gilly went down there, I feel like Gilly had he don't ever get the credit, but he had a lot to do with Wayne's development because Wayne went from rapping like a down south guy to rapping like a East Coast cat, and that really was unheard of back then. That's what made Ti kind of special back in those days because he didn't sound like where he was from. You know what I mean? But let me ask you this: so when it came So when it came to you getting into like the influence space, influencer space, what made you want to do that?
As far as fashion or just like in general,
Just in
like what I'm
general.
doing now. I just felt as though a lot of people do gatekeeping, so I was never into that shit. Like, especially when it came to fashion, like unless you went to school, you didn't know how to sew and all this other shit. Niggas was really trying to let you in the door, but I had swag. I had a following at a young age. I'm older now, but it's like the kids of the future, so I don't mind giving them platforms. And when y'all see me on my platform, and I'm interviewing kids that's younger than me or dudes that I've worked with in the past, you always hear them say like, "Yo, you put me in position for this." That's why I'm here. That's my job because at some point in time, I got to move out the way and they got to carry the torch. So, I had my time. I enjoyed it. I could feel as though, I got fresh during my time. I could still do it today if need be, but I'm not in the club every weekend or I'm not, gravitating to all of the hot spots. I pop out when I feel like it, but for these dudes to be confident and, it's for me to instill it in them. And I'm giving them platforms, people to hear the shit. That's my job.
Hey, and the thing I gotta ask you, man, because you're an old head. When you talk about the clubs, man, when you start hearing
Yeah.
Lil Jon, all that Atlanta music in New York, what did you think as a New Yorker? Because you remember before the radio sounded like it do today. The radio didn't always sound like it do in New York like it do today. What was that for you?
I, you know what? The shit was fun though. Like, cause New York, it was a lot of head bopping and man, get it caught up in that shit. But when that down south music came out, it was a lot of big bass. Like, it was fun in the club because I was probably like 18 at that time. I was young, my knees worked, so I could actually do a lot of the shit. Like, we still had playful stuff out here, Harlem shaking and chicken noodle souping and all of that other stuff. But they was talking, I guess the iteration of the trap, like bringing the they changed the sound. The sound came in and the sound different, but it was still playful. And New
Yeah,
York was
because I
going crazy with
always
it.
say DJ Envy did that, man. DJ Envy and Jermaine Dupri changed the radio in New York. People don't realize it about them. They changed the way radio sound in New York. The
They had a
way
lot of
DJ
them
Envy was
though.
playing that. Go ahead.
I said they had a lot of them. DJ
Yeah,
Self, he was in the club. It was a few of them that kind of like morphed the sound of the club. More the younger cats actually more than anything because the younger cats was closer to the streets. The older DJs they were solidified and they had like pre-made sets already that they was playing. So it
yeah,
wasn't like they was really feeling the energy of the young people, and it was more going crazy on the wave of the youth, and the youth really
yeah.
carry the club. Ain't nobody really clubbing all week at 40, man, unless you like in the industry parties and shit.
Hey, and I gotta ask you this, man, because to me, people don't realize this about Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn drill has been the biggest cancer to hit the city since crack. And I tell you why I say that. When I talk to my cousins and different people out there, the violence that you seeing in Brooklyn that was actually getting better. These kids with the drill music they picked up from the Midwest, I feel like it's even more deadly and violent. Do you kind of see that same thing?
Me personally, no, I don't hang around kids, so I don't
No,
see
no, I'm talking about
that.
on the outside
No,
looking in. We know you're an old head.
no, I'm just saying in general, like I don't really come across a lot of that type of even that type of energy. I'm still in the same space, my brother. All the
Okay.
old, all the stuff with the violence and all of that,
Hmm.
they gotta change their environments, man. Because if I got what they call ops, I can move,
Yeah,
man. I could move and change the way I move. We
yeah,
done seen we done seen people our age that was like monsters. They get
for sure.
kids and stuff like that. They ideology change, man. These kids don't. You think they read books these days? They don't read no books.
Hey, you come,
I'm saying the youth,
dang man. They
and I
don't
got.
read now. Come on.
They don't read. If you really have a conversation with a young kid, they really can't carry a conversation because their vocabulary is so limited.
Yeah, yeah,
It's sad, but it's been a disconnect between like my age group and the one under.
yeah.
And the age group right above us kind of like put their arm around us and told us like, yo, shorty, this is how you do it, whether
Hmm.
it be good or bad. Like they influence us in certain ways where they drop some knowledge. These young kids, they so crazy, they so weird. You don't want to be next to them because guess what? They'll take your ass out too. So I'm
Hmm.
good. I'm good,
Yeah.
man.
So we getting ready for the Rise podcast. I appreciate my man. I know he don't like when I said, but I think that's a cold name. My man Richie Threads, man, coming
Yo,
through, man.
yo. RICH, no E, no Rich E, man. If y'all want to follow me, man, let's talk fashion. That's one platform every Wednesday, 10 a.m. And then me and Ant McQueen, Ant is a god on this boxing shit. So we got the casuals tomorrow.
Mhm.
That's gonna be airing at 10 a.m. Man, dope sit down. My man GPZ jumped on with us. I'm
Oh
new
no,
to the.
my bad, no Rise, man. We can keep going. My bad.
I don't know what I say. All right, y'all got me for a little bit longer. Go ahead, man.
So
Keep cooking.
go ahead, Free. I know Free. See, Free from DC, man. So you can't tell this nigga nothing, man. You think he from the greatest place in the world? What you got for us, Free?
Nah. I mean, I'm sitting back listening because I lived in New York for 6 years. I stayed in Yonkers, but I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't because I was from DC. I wasn't really into hip hop like that until I got older.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got into hip hop, I was listening to Jay Z and the 50 Cents and those guys. I mean, I listened to the old school hip hop like NWA, LL Cool J, Run DMC because I'm 48 years old, so I listened to those guys. But as I got in my teenage years, I was listening to a lot of go go because that's what we had here in DC. But I mean, New York,
Go-Go's like dance music.
no go go. I mean, it is like dance music, but it's not party music. Go go is
Mm.
club music for if you in the DMV area and you go to a go go, it's club music. It's more booty shaking and stuff like that. It's not like down in the ATL when they doing all these little dance moves and stuff like that. It's not that type of dancing. It's
Okay.
literally you grinding on a female and you repping your hood and stuff like that. That's what go go is.
Oh, y'all dance, y'all
But
dubbing. We call that dubbing out here. Y'all was dubbing.
Hey, you gotta watch this dude, man.
That's what they call
yeah,
it. They
it's a
call it dubbing. When y'all get
yeah, it's
behind
a
a
it's li-
girl.
it's a live band. And what they do is it's a live band. Like the hottest song out, they are re
Mm,
they sample that hottest song and make it their own song. And so you'll hear a lot of the hot songs that's playing on the radio, and you'll hear a
mm.
go-go band that's to flip it and put it into their own song.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
it's like
it's like
it's like a chop and screw almost, like how they used to do it
yeah,
in Pac.
almost like that. It's almost
Okay,
like that.
okay, I'm following you. I'm following you.
I
Yeah,
would
but
I would say it's like house music too, man. It's just that house
it's
music.
similar to house music.
Yeah.
It's similar to house music, but I mean, like I said, it's a live band. So you got the congos, you got the drums, you got the
Mhm.
rollatons, and it's like I said, Scarface come down here. He's a legend down here in DC with because he always come down here and perform with Backyard and Rare Essence. So he's a legend down here, and he said DC is his second home. He's been down here many times at the Go Go's and doing shows at the Go Go's. But when I lived in New York, like I said, I noticed a lot of the fashion in New York. It was I ain't gonna say it was shocking. It was different from DC because we not flashy with our fashion. We're more so settled. We're up to date with the brands and stuff like that, but we're more settled. Like with
Hmm.
New York, it was when I was there in New York, it was a lot of the bright colors and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I'm not used to this. I'm used to we wearing solid
Yeah.
colors and stuff like that. I mean, it still be name brand. Like we might have a Coogee on, but it ain't the Coogee with all of the colors. It'd be a Coogee with a couple of colors and stuff like that. So, and the Gucci, we wear that and stuff like that. But I had to get used to their fashion because I lived up there. So when I came back home, I happened to have what I was wearing North Face. I had a North Face coat on, and I forgot what jeans I had, and I had a I had went to Jimmy Jazz right there in Fordham, and I had bought me an outfit, and I came home, and my brother and them they looked at me, and they was like,
The
"Yeah, you've
fuck
been
you
in New
got
York
on?
way too long. You've been in New York way too long." He was like, "We got to get you back to the DC style. You've been in there New York too long." I was like, "Well, nah, I got to adapt to my environment. That's where I'm living at. I got to adapt." So I mean, New York, I had fun. That's one thing about I say living in New York.
Always
If
something
you
to
if
do.
you if you can't, yeah, it's always something to do. If you can't have fun in New York, you're just not a person that want to have fun because there's always
Yeah,
something to do in New York. I mean,
absolutely.
on the weekends you go to the basketball court. It's always a gang of dudes out there playing ball. You go to the park. There's always somebody out there playing football. You go to the clubs. It's always a club jumping. I don't care what club you go to. It seems like every club in New York is jumping. Like DC, we got a few clubs that jump, and then some of the clubs you like, man, I ain't really messing with that. But when you go to New York, it's like every single club I went to, that joint was jumping. I was like, okay, yeah, these dudes be out here partying all the time. I mean, I like we in
Bottles,
DC,
bottles, blunts, and bitches. That's how it used to be.
yeah, like yeah, DC, we would go to the clubs Thursday through Sunday. New York, Sunday through Saturday, you can go to a club.
Yep.
And one thing I
Well,
always love about Brooklyn, people never bring this up. They got the thickest, baddest, dark skinned women on the planet, all in Brooklyn. Man. I don't know how they all there, but they got the coldest ones out there. For those brothers that like chocolate, man, you'll lose your teeth out there, man. So,
That's
so
crazy. That's crazy.
there's so many dark chocolate ones up there, man. But the funny thing is, man, I know you a Knicks fan like me. What you think? How you think we gonna finish this year? I think we're gonna be able to get to the second round this year. What you think?
I got the Knicks top four in the East. I can't. I got Boston number one. That's solidified for me. They didn't make no changes.
Mhm.
Y'all let the white man go and go win a championship. So I just want to see what the Bucks look like, and then the 76ers. So y'all in between
Yeah.
two and four.
Yeah, because I don't know what they was thinking giving all them picks away from Markel Bridges, but
You know what I would say sometimes. Sometimes it's about chemistry, and them dudes don't have to learn chemistry because they've been together already. That's the chemistry really fucked Dame and Giannis up because they two A's didn't know how to play with each other. So that kind of hindered them. So they were kind of like learning on the job with that situation. And then if I'm really that nigga and this dude come over here, he been that. It's like who gonna tap out the who?
yeah, and I think Dan going through a
Yeah.
divorce, man. People don't want to talk about that.
He
Anybody
spoke
who's
on it.
married or been married, that's a huge thing, man. A divorce is a very tragic thing to happen. And let me ask you a question, man. We don't see this, talk about this with you. What was something you would say, man? What did you do, man, when you had your worst day? How was you able to come back from that?
My worst day. I don't know. I don't remember having much bad days, to be honest with you. Like I kind of always say that an even kill, but bad days, I don't know. Take a walk, nothing too crazy. 'Cause I never really, mentally, I'm always scatterbrained, so I'm always somewhere mentally, so I can get distracted real quick on some. Like right now, I'm on a joint with y'all, but I'm editing tomorrow's episode. Like I'm always moving.
Yeah. And the reason I say that is because, man, you'd be surprised. I'll be in the comments and say, yo, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that. And I think it's important, man, that us as brothers, man, and when we come together, that we do give each other some real tools we can use because I'm telling you, man, it's always tough when you're really trying. Now, when you're not trying, that's different. But when you really trying to provide a way, trying to take care of your family, and it kind of seemed like nothing's working, because on the internet, it'll lead you to believe everybody has to be a high value man or a top 1%, but that's not for everybody to do. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to make sure that, the everyday brother, man, who's working hard for his family, if one of us can give him some tools to keep going, because I'm telling you, man, no one gets pooped on more than the blue collar worker, man. Whether it's the man who lays down cement, whether it's the man who's a police officer, the construction worker. I feel like those are the most disrespected men on the planet, the blue collar worker. What
You
you
know what? I'm gonna say to that, Rob. The people that's blue collar workers that get disrespected, that shit is a very small window because that money comes in consistently. And I done been through the era of scammers, dealers, pimps that was getting bread lost their money to Craigslist. Imagine that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And now they got OnlyFans. So you ain't hot in these streets like that. Consistently working and providing is one thing that's going to be there, whether it be bi-weekly, every week paycheck. You got insurance and teeth. Look at my teeth. My teeth look good for a reason. Like, just stay consistent with who you are. Don't put yourself. People find themselves looking out the window and watching everybody else and wanting to be like that. And Instagram made it worse, where it's like I could show everything that's good about me. So my background is beautiful here, but when I take all this clothes off and all that, and I go lay down on a twin size bed as a grown man, almost 6 feet, and my feet hanging off, nobody don't see that. They don't show that. So to be living life for what people present you online, you a damn fool. So running in a hamster wheel with that. Just live your life, man. Enjoy your journeys. It ain't. If a journey was made for you to finish fast, then that means it wasn't for you, or it wasn't a journey.
Yeah, and I'll say this, man. Speaking about that, I've been doing YouTube this sharing for me. Um, I ain't gonna bring up the name or nothing, but one time we was all having a chat, and somebody was complaining about something, and something you said you were telling them, but it kind of hit me like, you know what? You can't cry, man. What are you doing this for? Are you doing it for the views? Are you doing it for the movement? What are you doing it for? And I think sometimes you got to ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing? What's your why? Why did you get into whatever space you in? And I think that's a very real question to ask yourself each and every day. Like, what am I doing this for, or why am I here? And I'll tell you this, man, that I appreciate you saying that day, because you didn't even realize it really blessed me, man, because sometimes you got to hear that. Like, you know what? Yeah, it ain't how you want it, but keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna get on my inner cam on you real quick, right? You ever heard that? You ever heard an interview? He was like, "Yo, why you rap?" Nigga said, "Yo, I rap because I'm nice." He'd be like, "Yo, why you do YouTube?" Because I want to. I got all my own equipment. I play around with gadgets all day. I done did clothes, so I know how to talk this shit. So I just turn on the camera when I feel like it, and I do it because I want to. It's fun for the journey, yeah. But if I'm not surviving on it, or it's still food in the fridge, this shit is recreation to me. I don't hoop like I used to before. And these young niggas, they gonna try to crack me if I come out there. So I might as well stay behind the camera and talk the shit.
Hey, salute to my guy, man. D for the win. He not from Southwest DC, but he's still a good brother, man. Salute to my man D for the win. He been saying a lot of T.O. slander, so we watching you, man. We heard that T.O. slander you doing. Salute to my man Hardcore. But before we get out of here, man, I gotta ask you this, man. Being from Flatbush, you got a 2-time undisputed world champion from right in your area, man. What is that like having a guy like TSP Malone being right from
Who
your
who
area?
who?
Come on, here you go, man. Here you go, man. There y'all New York people go. Like, y'all don't know T.O. City.
That nigga's from Orlando, man. Keep
No, he
telling me
not.
that, man. Bro, what side of the town he supposed to be from? Where did he go to? Where did he go to junior high school? I'm not even gonna say elementary school. Where he go to junior high school at?
Come on, here you go, man. Here
He
you
not
go.
from he not from Flatbush, because there's only one boxer with a mural in Flatbush, and that's Africa. And his joint is right by the corner store by the projects over there
But
in
he
Vanderbilt.
but he screamed that he's from Brownsville, so
Who? Nah,
Africa.
he said he from Flatbush. He say he from Flatbush.
I never heard him say that, but
Like
I I know what you
hold on. Don't smoothing over it to get to this little half freak Mexican, whatever you want to call him. He's not from New York, bro.
hold on one second.
And he was a 2-time
Let me play
undisputed.
something real quick because you talking wild. Let me play this real quick.
Lopez, the takeover, 2-time undisputed world champion.
You see him right in New York right there, but it
Wait,
is
no,
what it is, man.
play it again. Play it again. Let me look at this.
Lopez, the takeover, 2-time undisputed world champion.
He looked like he in Dykeman. That's not Brooklyn. Where he at?
Oh, here we go. Hey, see when you do that,
Water.
you make me have to play this,
You
man.
have to stop. Y'all keep talking. Huh? You keep talking, man. And you shut the fuck up. Huh?
We gotta get Uncle Dirk.
That man was on Fordham.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He not for like. Listen. There's a mural of Africa, and Amanda Serrano has a mural.
You cold, man. You going
I'm
at it.
just, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
But
Anybody else know him from being from Brownsville or
here we go. Here
Flatbush
we
or
go,
wherever?
man. Here we
We
go. I say you from Flatbush. I like how
just,
you
we
switched
just
it
had
up. I like how you did that.
we just had Lil Mike Tyson up here the other day, yesterday. She thought he was from Ohio.
Oh,
He said he's from
He from
nobody
Orlando.
claiming T.O. from New York.
Crazy, crazy.
Hey, but you know what? You know what I will say, man. Shout out to the JBT, man. We got hardcore in the morning at 8. You know, you start off with my man with the coffee, my man with the coffee, and definitely we got my man Remo every Wednesday at 11. 2 o'clock we got Cash Sport, the box historian. 4 o'clock we got my guy, the voice, Just Do. 8 o'clock you got the Asiatic black man sent by God himself, BVO Boxing.
Oh God.
And then we got no at 9 we got my man Coach Squeeze in the Rise podcast, man. Shout out to Coach Squeeze.
Hold
But
on. Hold on. What about my other guy? Yo, that's crazy.
who? What guy? Squeeze?
Nah, he squeezes a co-host. He has a co-host.
Oh, Coach Calvin and Coach Kenny. Salute to Coach Calvin, Coach Kenny. Salute to them as well.
Yo, that's wild, man. That's wild.
But hey, that boy hardcore said Tio from Alaska. That's cool.
You know what? You are right. He is from Flatbush. That nigga grew up in Kings County Psych Ward. That's where he from.
Oh, here we go.
You right. I forgot, bro.
Hey, but you know,
the R building. That's where he from.
Shout out to my guy, man, Richie Threads, man. Good brother.
Rich Threads.
Hey, you know, my man say can play some basketball. We gonna find out. We gonna find out one day.
Whenever y'all ready.
We gonna find out because you know I hear you only 5'11", so I hear you little, so it's gonna be bully ball all day, mellow style.
Whatever's clever. Once you put up some bread and I'll bring some donuts for you, you'll be just fine.
Hey man, you a goofball, man. All I gotta do is say take your hat off, man.
That's it.
That's all I got. Take your hat off, man. That's all I got to say, LL. Take your hat off.
Take
your hat off.
I'm grown for a reason, baby.
Take your hat off, L. Don't forget, BVO is still 360 waved up, baby. Just remember that. And on that note, shout out to my man Prize Fighter, man, aka T'Challa. Shout out to my man West Indian Marky Dan, the Puerto Rican Prince D Free, the angriest man in boxing, Crush, the philosopher Thomas Hill, and you know me, the Asiatic one, sent by God himself, man. BVO Boxing, man. And we on, y'all. Peace. I like how you shake your head like that, Richie. What you shake your head for, man?
Man, turn off your show, man.
Yo, the JBT is back at you with another raffle. This time we'll be giving away an iPad, 10th generation iPad on entertainment in the pocket of your hand. So you wonder, how do you get this iPad? It's only $10. We're giving away block specials for all our prizes this time around. $10 per entry, 3 entries for just $25 to get you in this time. Who don't love a block special? Not only are we giving away an iPad, but it's more gifts. Who don't love gifts? Gifts on top of gifts. Send that money, JBT Network 1, JBT Network 1, JBT Network 1. Now, what you say is the other prizes now? We linked up with Kenichi Bear. Noise canceling headphones from the young brother straight from Baltimore, Maryland. So, if you want an addition to your $10, you get a secondary prize if you don't win the first prize. And then, don't forget, we got more. Don't win the first prize, don't win the second prize. Who don't need an air fryer? We're giving away a Ninja air fryer. Get your food right, eat healthy, get right. All on the JBT. $10 once again. I get you all of this. Your chance is golden. You got to be in it to win it. If you ain't in it, you don't get no prize. $10, JBT Network 1. Good luck. It's on you.
We really boxing. Who wanted the baddest? Let's see. Oh, we boxing. Yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weaving and blocking. Defeat ain't an option. Let them know. Shoot a video. Put it on BVO. Let them know. Every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO. Bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone.